Yeah? Do you think we should welcome them to the stream, darling?
Oh, I definitely think so.
Yeah?
Yep.
How about something like, welcome to our stream here. I
Yeah.
think you're gonna like it. I think you'll find that you'll feel right at
Woohoo.
home. Welcome to our stream, dear. Whoa,
I gotcha. You're live.
I don't know.
We're
I've
live
been
at
in
5.
a Alice Cooper mood all week.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Live at
He's got a new book
5.
out. I had a video out. I
That's
put it
true.
over to the members only video. There wasn't very much interest in it, and it was a toss-up between sharing that one and a piece off of Royce's last stream, The Four Horsemen. And so I kind of switched them, folks, if there's any question there. Welcome to our stream, dear. I'm Michael Noland. The channel's name is Michael Noland, The Bottom Line. And when I stream, we call that portion of the channel the Tribal Forum. Now, the reason we call it the Tribal Forum is at the end of most of my videos, you'll hear me sign off by saying, remember, folks, we are the tribe. And that's kind of taken on a life of its own. People kind of dug that and started self-identifying themselves as the tribe, and that's how it kind of evolved. And so when last year I started streaming, I started calling this the Tribal Forum, a forum where the tribe gets to talk back to me in real time, and they do so by making comments here in the comment section. Kimberly, my lovely wife, who is my producer and my off-screen co-host, is keeping an eye on what's going on in the comments. She connects, and then I usually have a pre-thought out selected subject to talk about during the evening, and I'm prepared to just yammer on. And everybody is more than welcome to disagree with me at any time. I'll ask you to be disrespectful. You'll see a lot of badges with a lot of the commenters there. They are tribal marshals, and we don't abide trolls on the channel, okay? But you can disagree with me all you want. Use a bit of colorful language, not too much, but no, I don't expect anybody to agree with me at all on any subject I talk about. I want a discussion, but I want a discussion that's a little more civilized than are found on some streams. Okay, so tonight is Tribal Forum number 117. Can't believe we've done 117 of these things, baby. But anyway, and we're going to be asking the question, who out of all of the land is the greatest drummers in rock and roll? Now, a few of you have already kind of got a sense, and you know me over the years. Whenever I critique anything or try to put together a list to follow or anything like that, I always draw up a set of criteria. It's kind of my way. Because when you're talking about drumming, especially drumming as an instrument, and we're talking about the drum kit, not just percussionists, although many of the drummers here that we'll be discussing tonight are excellent percussionists, extraordinaires of various other percussive instruments themselves. But we're talking about basically what you got is anywhere from one bass drum, a hi-hat, a snare, couple of ride toms and a floor tom, to double, and of course the bass drum there, a double bass drum there. Some of them just, they have kits that are designed for atomic warfare, okay? But the reason I bring this up is we're talking about who are the greatest drummers in rock, all right? So we won't be talking about Art Blakey or Elvin Jones, Tony Williams, Max Roach, or even Buddy Rich, okay? So part of the criteria tonight is not just, well, I'm a guitarist, you know, guitar licks, lickability, riffability, you know, drum beat ability, okay? We're not talking strictly about that, although that is part of the criteria. We do want our drummers to have a certain proficiency, okay? So keep this in mind. Here are the criteria. Chops, okay? Swing. Can they bring it to life? Can they bring the song to life that they are serving? We'll talk about that in a minute. Their influence on rock and roll in general as a drummer counts a whole lot. And by that, I mean if they laid down an influence, a style, an approach that other drummers would later use as a platform and maybe even became greater drummers than that original drummer is a major drummer in rock and roll because he or she influenced a sub-style of drumming, or at least a sub-style of an approach to drumming, okay? They have to have solid timekeeping. Did you notice the drummers I had on my thumbnail for tonight's stream? Ringo Starr's up there, okay? And don't tell me he hasn't influenced 1,000 people. On top of that, he was known as a human metronome. Paul McCartney specifically has mentioned that many times. They didn't have click tracks when Ringo was drumming. He was the click track. Okay, so solid timekeeping, dynamic control, the ability for the drummer to get real down and dirty, and as the band quiets down, they're doing this. You know what I'm saying? It goes from 0 to 60 at the right moment. That counts a whole lot to me. So dynamic control, staying in the pocket with the bass player often helps, since in rock and roll, basically that is your entire rhythm section. A rhythm guitarist can be part of that if that's the rhythm guitarist's approach. But you gotta have that bass player, or whether that's through bass pedals being played, right, by a keyboard player, or the actual bass player, bass guitarist, you gotta stay in the pocket with him because that's the skeleton of the presentation. And then we're gonna get into their versatility. Are they just a one song ma kind of drummer? One style fits all? Or can they, and thus encourage the rest of the band to go into brand new territories that the band had not been in previously? And then, are they a team or a band-oriented person? Now, not every drummer tonight is going to hit every single one of these parts. These are the general criteria that I'm looking for, and I want all 10 of these criteria to be represented in the poll, and we're going to go over to the poll because all of this is connected to the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. Now, we've gotten a ton of new subscribers, and so maybe new viewers, and I'll explain what that all of that is right after Kimberly reads out. Oh, this is a $20 super thanks.
LVX.
Thank you, Deuce.
Yes, he did. Oh my goodness,
Could you read
so
that?
Nice. I sure can. He says, "Who wrote the lyrics? Who wrote the lyrics? Got one half." Whoopsie, sorry, I got a commercial. Sorry, one half of the royalties, and the writer of the melody got the other half.
Mm-hmm.
And the drummer gets 0.
Mm-hmm.
Drums are part of the arrangement unless he wrote the lyrics and or melodies. Respect to our drummers. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
right.
That is one of the big things for me. You know, I love percussion. I
know
percussion.
you do. Yeah.
That is like the main instrument for me. So
right. I agree.
Absolutely beast.
Yeah, it's the backbone, and some writers will go in and credit drummers. Now, you'd have to change the law. You'd have to change the law. I've copyrighted all of my material. I own my material, and it is based basically on lyrics and melody, perhaps chord structure, perhaps other minute things. So for that to happen, Deuce, you'd have to have the who is legally considered the songwriters. Let's say Ringo just laid into a great Lennon and McCartney song, and I'm not talking about What's Going On. And they gave Ringo credit for that, songwriting credit for that. That wouldn't be one that I would nominate just because of what he brought to that song, because there's a lot of unoriginality to that song. It's not one of my favorite Beatles songs. It's not a bad one. There's no such thing as a bad Beatles song. But it would be, if I were to rank all what? Do they go up to 200, slightly over, for their total catalog of songs they wrote? It would be on the lower echelons. But say that he came in and really rearranged the song, I think it would be incumbent on both Paul and John to give him credit for it. But you'd have to change the laws. But yes, you're absolutely right. And that brings me also to number 10, and finally, uniqueness. Something that makes them unique. That's why you saw Meg White in the list as well. Plus, a few of you had nominated her. Now, I don't think she's doing real well in her particular part of the poll right now, but she's up against subatomic platform shoes of drummers here, okay? And not every... First of all, I'll say this about the list that we have. This will be a 10-part poll. I think we're on part 7 now. Part 8 will be out tomorrow, early probably. 9, probably late in the evening, tomorrow night, and then we'll wrap it up. And then on Sunday, we'll give this its final polish, okay? And understand that. Now, before we got that wonderful, what was it, a $20 super thanks from Deuce? And I love the fact that you attached that with such a thought-provoking comment, Deuce. Thank you so much. But I was explaining why are we doing this? What is the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame? If you're new to the channel, I'll explain it in just a flash here, okay? This is the alternative to the crapola that we get from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. On a previous stream one day, I said I should just start my own damned Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I had so much criticism about how it's being handled and everything. And so more than a few of you said, yeah, let's do our own Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So we have up to, I think we have 13 plus 25. What does that give us? 35 and 38, and then we have another 26. So I said we had 130. I think we're going to wind up with 130 inductees before the year is out. Okay? So what do the drummers have to do with all of this? Well, the drummers, 25 of the inductees we've already got are guitarists, and they were chosen for their ability to play guitar. Their influence is pretty much the same criteria we're talking about tonight, only transposed to guitar. It doesn't matter whether any of these drummers write lyrics. That will not be taken into consideration. If that is a future nomination, then that'll be in a future, there'll be a future nomination as a songwriter, okay? Or they will get nominated right along with their band. I can give you an example. Neil Peart, okay? He's gonna be on this list if he hasn't been out already. Okay, if he were to win this, he would also be a 2-time inductee into the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, because he's already in with Rush. And the reason that Rush is in is for their total package, and that total package included Peart, I should say, because everybody keeps correcting me. It's actually pronounced Peart, Michael. But Neil, all right, he's the lyricist for the damn band. And that whole process and everything. But tonight, this is going to be based on just their drum ability, okay? So keep all of that in mind. We're trying to keep the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame more pure than the clown show across the street. Okay, it gets down to that, folks, all right? So those are going to be the criteria. Before I get into that, I always give a shout out to those who gave us super thanks on our last stream. These guys have already been shouted out on that video I was talking about before. But I always give them one final shout out on the next stream. And of course, my good buddy Royce from the Four Horsemen gave us a $10 super thanks. Just the Facts Man came in with a $20 super thanks. Ben Scheidecker bought a brand new membership that one of you took advantage of. Thank you, Dan. That was like, or Ben, that was like a $7 super thanks. Michael Rochester was in a couple of times, this time with a $2. We call those swinging the deuce hammer.
Deuce hammer.
A $2 super thanks. Rockin' Robin Bird was in a couple of times, this time with a $5 super thanks. Deuces Wild was in with a $5 super thanks. Storm Cop came in with a whopping $50 super thanks. Thank you to both of you. Joseph Blue was the last one in, but he came in with a $5 super thanks. Michael Boswell, okay, I've got to count them up. He was in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, so you got 10, 15, oh, good Lord, buddy, 20, 25, I think $30 from Michael Boswell. So thank you so much for Michael, and all of his super thanks really drove. Kimberly was going, man, not only did we get super thanks, but the whole stream got more interesting with everyone that he was coming. He was really in tune, and we didn't agree on everything, but as usual. But thank you so much, Michael. Rockin' Robin Bird was in again with another deuce hammer. Thank you, Rockin'. I appreciate it. You know that. Michael Rochester was also in with another $2 super thanks. So thank you all. I appreciate that so much. Now, I did want to read a comment from Doc Insomnia from earlier. He said, one thing we have to keep in mind is how the drummer fits in with the rest of the band. Ringo is perfect for the Beatles. Charlie, perfect for the Stones, but putting Moon or Bonzo in either one of those bands would be a disaster. Just like Ringo and Charlie would be useless for the Who or Zepp. I agree. Moon and Bonzo were perfect for their bands. Remember, greatness is relative to comparability. I agree. And I think I made that clear. And not just measured by skill and virtuosity. Okay? So I did want to bring that up. And then, of course, right after him, Dragon came in with some concurring thoughts. His messages are probably still there for you to see. And I thoroughly agree with both of those gentlemen, and said so in the comments before me getting up, mainly because they had kind of caught on where I wanted to go here. All right? Okay, so let's see. We got all that, got that taken care of. I did want to say a big shout out to Jay Kleban and to Zuma Van. Both Zuma Van was deputized as a tribal marshal on our last stream. I gave her a shout out, or him, I'm not sure, Zuma Van, a shout out in the comments, but didn't mention it up here.
Oh my goodness,
we
hon.
appreciate it so much.
Storm
And
Cop.
of course, Jay Kleban,
Whoa.
longtime commenter, was just
Whoa.
badged up today. Okay, baby,
Oh,
you
Storm
obviously
Cop,
have something to say.
Well, Storm Cop came in like he usually comes in with a boom, a
Huh?
$50 boom.
Oh my God. You're
Oh,
kidding me.
Storm Cop, you're so wonderful.
James?
Like I was telling him, he's never late. Never.
No.
Never late.
No, James and about 20 other of you, we go to great measures to communicate outside the channel. And Royce is one of those people that's coming to mind. Dan from Just the Facts Man. Dan's quite predominantly featured in my new video, folks. He has a lot to say, and it's really good because we're talking about Ozfest 2 in that video. And you should go over to Royce's channel to see the whole show. I think we went on for almost 2 hours, but I do a little 9.5 minute version of what we covered there. And I got to tell you, looking back on it, I wish I had included a snippet of Chris Elliott making a suggestion, because they're talking about making Ozfest 2 inclusive, more diversive. Oh my God, the flags, the red alerts are going off in the studio as I talk. I just can't believe that, and in that video, I even joke around with him saying, well, we'll probably get New Edition in pink showing up at Ozfest now. Because it's such a lame-ass move and a lame-ass Rock and Roll Hall of Fame move. And as I've just got through telling you folks, I can't stand the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's one of the things that's tearing rock a new a-hole, and I don't like it. I'm tired of bending over, and we're not anymore, are we, folks? People better bring us damn bouquet of flowers, right, Tribe?
Uh-oh.
What's up?
We just got another super thanks from
my goodness.
Royce in the house.
Royce in the house.
Yes, and we need to read Storm Cops first, though.
Oh, okay,
But
yes.
thank you so much, Royce.
Yes.
I'm going to read Storm Cops. He says, sorry I'm late. He's never late.
Never.
My vote is for Def Leppard's drummer, Rick Allen. Amen. Amen.
Oh,
agree.
you know what?
Excellent.
Now, see, here's how connected I am to my tribe, folks. Wow. Your wish is my freaking command.
Yeah.
James. $50, you go, oh, yeah, they just bought Michael. No, he's already on the freaking list. I think he's on part 10. And it's mainly because of your comment on the poll, James.
Yeah.
All right? So, yeah, that's already happening, baby.
Yeah.
So he has a chance. And talk about, instead of diversity, how about adversity? A one-armed drummer, Rick Allen. Damn straight, that man's got to be on the list.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So I've been listening to you. I've added 3 or 4 drummers in the last 3 days, just based on your guys' comments. And I've taken off drummers that I had put in, right? And it's already a list that's half my list and half of yours. And now it's already heavily favoring being mainly a tribe list. All right, baby. And
Royce's comment.
And by the way, his was a $10 super thanks, wasn't it?
Yes.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Royce. He says, I saw a recent poll on the top drummers. Mitch Mitchell of the Jimi Hendrix Experience was ranked number 5. Well deserved for being able to keep up with Jimmy. Mitch is finally getting his due.
Well, Mitch Mitchell will
Absolutely.
be on the poll if he's not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Royce, so he's on there, brother. He's on there. As a matter of fact, you and about 20 other people mentioned that when I told people we were going to put this list together. I would have put him on my list, brother. You know that. But I had already put out maybe a list of my top 20 at that point. And not that he wouldn't be in my top 20. I just hadn't thought of him lately. And it was your comments and about 20 others that put him on the list early. Okay? And like all of my polls get more exciting the closer we get to the final part. We're on part 7. I'll give you an example. All right? Let's go on over there real quick. And Royce, thank you so much. So far, all of you have given us these super thanks. You know, I'm not kidding. You are keeping this channel alive, and I'm not going to get into that. I've done that on other streams. But if you're a new viewer, I did want to let you know that all of these things go to keep the upkeep of this channel and everything else, and that the channel's been battling, mysterious subscriptions being taken off, and I monitor my channel quite closely, and I should be right now. We just achieved 47,300 subscribers just on my last stream on Sunday. And we're already about halfway to 47.5. So I've got a lot of new subscribers coming in lately. And I want you all to know, if you're brand new, oh yeah, I just subscribed for his video, but I wonder what he's like live.
Oh my goodness.
I will hold on just a second, babe. Let me finish my thought, and then I'll give this over to you. But anyway, if I can think about what I was actually talking about, what was I talking about?
Good sorry. Lord. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
You interrupted me, Wilma.
I know.
Good Lord. It'll come back to me in just a second. What do we have here? Storm Cop sent in a special message.
Tribal chieftain for 22 months.
Yep.
He says we donate because we are the tribe.
Thank you so much, brother.
You're the heart and soul, Storm Cop.
I appreciate that.
Wonderful.
But anyway, I remember what I was talking about is we've got a lot of people who have been unsubscribed, and that has affected views on videos and everything. That's affected what the channel makes, which was sustaining stuff. At least the payments of stuff that had been invested to set up the channel to begin with. Okay? So enough said about that. All right, so let's go on over to, real quick, I'm going to, whether you join me or not, you can just listen along if you want. I want to go over where we are on the poll so far. This is going to be a poll of 40 drummers in rock and roll that are being nominated here.
Oh boy.
What's that, baby?
Flounder Gear Jam just came in with a deuce hammer.
Oh my goodness.
$2.
Thank you, Gear Jam. I appreciate it so much, brother. Did he say anything?
Oh, he said, deuce hammer time.
Deuce hammer time.
Deuce, you are wonderful.
Right, and if you notice,
Deuce is part of the heart and soul of this tribe too.
Right. Did you?
Oh yeah.
Did you notice Kimberly got just as excited just now as she did when James gave the 50? We, at the end of any particular stream, we'll get 7, 8 of those. All right, that becomes a quite nice super thanks, all bound up in that way. So feel free, don't feel like, I can't afford $50. Please don't think that way. All right, folks?
Nope.
And we do appreciate it. But remember, this is mainly for you, the viewer. Okay? And we, of course, appreciate that. We have to bring that up. But the stream is for you guys who are just viewing. So let's get back to this.
Okay. Yes.
Now, this is part 1, and the question is the same on all these parts, so I won't repeat that. I swear to God this time, I won't repeat that. And that is, which of the following drummers do you believe should be inducted into the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame? Part 1 had Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses, Ian Pace from Deep Purple, Larry Mullen Jr., excuse me, from YouTube, and Danny, I always want to call him Dane, Dan Carey from Tool. I hope that helps.
There you go.
All right. So anyway, early results. Now, you can still vote on these guys. You can still change this, folks. All parts are open until I close them, which will be maybe as late as Sunday. Okay? But with over 1,300 votes, here are the two out of those four: Stephen Adler, Ian Pace, Larry Mullen Jr., and Danny Carey. Here's the two winners so far if everything holds. And yeah, Larry could possibly catch up. We'll see if it changes. But right now, Ian Pace with 74% of the vote, and then Danny Carey of Tool with 14%, and the next closest is at 6%, Larry Mullen Jr. Now, that doesn't mean Stephen Adler, who is in last place, is a bad drummer. Like I said, probably 90% of the drummers on this list, I would have nominated myself, okay, if I didn't actually do the nomination, okay? None of these, well, one was Ian Pace. That was my nomination, but I got tons of you agreeing with me, so I kept them on the list. And when you guys disagreed with me, I'd take a lesser drummer who got less agreement off of my list. So he was one of my originals, and I'm glad to see him doing so well. But I am so surprised that Danny Carey is doing so well. I love Tool, and he's amazing. All right, in part two, the drummers of choice were Ginger Baker from Cream, Phil Rudd from AC/DC, Jeff Porcaro from Toto, and many other projects, and Meg White from the White Stripes. Like I said, Meg White this time around is at 3%. It doesn't look like she might catch up, but like I said, you guys can change this at any moment. And we're talking 1,200 views on this group of people, in addition to the 1,300 views from part one. And right now, Ginger Baker is leading with a whopping 67%. But Jeff Porcaro, I was surprised by this. I thought Phil Rudd was a shoo-in. I would have chosen Jeff Porcaro over Phil Rudd, but I love Phil Rudd, right? Like I said, and Meg White had a unique approach, I told you before. So all four are deserving. But if this part holds up, Jeff Porcaro and Ginger Baker from Cream will be nominated at the end of this poll. Only you guys can change that. Part three, we were given Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, Stuart Copeland from The Police.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
What's that, baby?
You're not going to believe this.
What?
It's Storm Cop again.
Oh my goodness.
Our Storm Cop. He has sent 5 gift memberships.
Oh, good Lord.
Storm Cop, you are epic. Oh my goodness.
All right,
That
we'll
is
start
so
part three
nice.
here in a minute. I just want to give you guys thank you, James. That's like a
Oh,
$35
gosh.
super thanks. Good Lord, how much have you given today?
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, and that second note we read from him, by the way, okay, is going to connect with what he's just done. We have members here on the channel. I haven't mentioned much about it tonight, but members only videos, that is an entire different approach than this channel, even though it's connected to this channel. I have not stopped making, matter of fact, I am more busy making new videos for my regular channel and streams than I've ever been in my life, and I devote even an additional amount of time to get you guys who support the channel financially by joining as members videos for you. There are very recent videos over there. We're coming up. Probably on my next stream, I'll just claim it, that I've got 150 videos over there that aren't available on this channel. But for you new viewers who aren't into joining and stuff like that, I've got 1,600 videos here on this channel. So for those of you who aren't interested, it's still a great place to hang out. And for the bulk of the history of this channel, that was the channel. And if anything, I've gotten more busy on the regular channel than I've ever done. So if you get this, what he's done, this of course is a gift to the tribe as well, you know, the continuance of this, but it's a gift to you. If this is offered to you, take it. For 1 month at least, if you don't re-up, you become a tribal elder. Okay? There's another tier that you can join over there. It's called tribal chieftain. Of course, James is a tribal chieftain, but both tribal elders and chieftains can send special messages to me right during the stream. And it's highlighted like a super thanks. And it doesn't cost them anything because I read it just like a super thanks. All right? And they also get priority response from me. There is no way I can respond. I don't just respond to them, but there's no way I could respond to the amount of people on this poll. Hundreds of people have responded. But when I go over, I read each and every one of them. I answer the ones I can. But if there is a star, a membership star on that person, I hit that. All right? And I respond back. And the whole idea of that is I try to give you guys bang for the buck because we truly appreciate your support. Okay? Thank you so much, James. You know what I think about you, brother. I consider James a friend. He went through a really tough 2025. Probably the end of 2024 wasn't great either for him. And he just recently went on a cruise for his anniversary with his lovely wife. Dawn, I'm trying to remember. James, you'll have to remind. I'm trying to remember. That just popped into my head. His lovely wife, Dawn, I think. Maybe. Look for his response, babe. I'd be interested if I got that right.
Yeah, tell us your wife's name.
But thank you, sir.
Stormcock.
Okay, so that gets us to part 3 here. Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. I'll be respectful this time. Stuart Copeland from the Police. Mick Avery from the Kinks. And Billy Cobham, the Mahavishnu Orchestra. Now, if everything holds up right now, Billy Cobham and Stuart Copeland will be inducted. But once again, Tommy Lee and Mick Avery are still in the mix. Only you guys can prevent a travesty here, folks. Part 4, drummers up to bat, Mick Fleetwood, Fleetwood Mac, Bill Bruford, yes, Steve Smith, Journey. See, you can't say all my guys got in here. I'm not a big Journey fan. First couple albums, yes, but anyway, I did. So it's not just my list here, folks. And of course, Dave Garibaldi from Tower of Power, and a couple of you guys chose him. He wasn't going to be in my first list, and you guys know I love Tower of Power. Right now, if things hold, it looks like Mick Fleetwood will come in second place and be inducted at 38%, with Bill freaking Bruford coming in with 50%. 50%. This was the surprise of surprises for me. I've got to tell you, I thought with popular bands like Journey and Fleetwood Mac, I was hoping there were enough Yes fans out there that he could maybe squeeze by second place. He's in first place. He's got that swing I'm talking about, folks. He's got the swing and the feel that Alan White, another great drummer, not on the poll. I had to choose between them. I didn't want to choose one band and use all their drummers. Couldn't do that. So I chose my favorite. That was my induction, and so many of you agreed with me. And so that's really good. But he had a swing that Alan White, and I love Alan White. God, I love Alan White. When I saw Yes, Alan White was the drummer. Okay? I never got to see Yes with Bill Bruford, damn it. But so I love Alan White, but Bill Bruford, so well deserved so far. Even he could be overtaken. All right, part 5. All right, so that's with 1.1 thousand. The number will start getting smaller as we go because it's been less time that these questions have been on. Part 5 had 1,000 votes. And it says, I told you I wasn't going to read that question again. But the drummers up to bat are Jim Gordon, Derek and the Dominoes, Bill Ward from Black Sabbath. I've often said Bill Ward is one of the most underrated freaking drummers on the planet. Okay, Planet Caravan, go there. All right. End of discussion, Mildred. And Maureen Moe Tucker, The Velvet Underground, and Dave Lombardo, Slayer. Okay, way above everybody in the pack. Good Lord, I'm surprised because so many lists don't list this guy up high enough. Bill Ward of Black Sabbath with 71% of the vote, baby.
Yeah.
71% of the vote. Ooh. And so if that holds, then he'll be a two-time winner in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, right along with Tony Iommi, who's in for both Black Sabbath and his time. Where was I? Black Sabbath and what? See, yeah, this is live, folks. You get brain farts. All of a sudden, you're going, "What? Where am I? What did I do? What land am I from?" Right? But just like Tony Iommi, who's in Black Sabbath, and as a guitarist, is what I meant to say. All right, so very well done. But in second place, and I was a bit surprised, I thought Dave Lombardo might be in second place on this one. Jim Gordon from Derek and the Dominoes, damn straight on that one. One of my favorite drummers. Oh, man. And, I've been listening to that album a whole lot, and I was gifted Derek and the Dominoes, Layla and 12 Other Love Songs, whatever its full title is. One of my favorite albums in rock and roll, bar none. It would be in my top 10 albums if I were allowed to choose double albums in that top 10 list. Most definitely. One of the best albums in rock and roll. So well deserved so far, but Mo and Dave are still in contention. If you guys don't agree with this, change it. Next up to bat, part 6, Michael Shreve from Santana, Nick Mason from Pink Floyd, another underrated freaking drummer. And you know what? I got a lot of comments from you folks in the comments. Go on over and read them in the poll. Bringing in Nick Mason just goes to show that, whoever's in the most popular band always wins. And there is some truth to that sometimes in these polls. There's no doubt. Gives them a little bit of extra muscle. But Mike Shreve from Santana's a pretty freaking big band.
Oh, love Santana.
Yeah. The Allman Brothers, Butch Trucks, they're a pretty freaking big band. And Carmen Appice from Vanilla Fudge. Maybe you don't go back that far, young man. But they were a freaking big band, and I love him. I love him. And I'm so happy to report that so far Carmen Appice, Vanilla Fudge, and Beck Bogert and Appice, and other projects, is in second place with 29%, with Nick Mason. Thank you, Lord. There is a God in heaven, Mildred. From Pink Floyd is in first place with 45%. Now, as a first place man, that's rather low. But he's got a good Lord, 39. He's got 16% lead on the second place. So it's a strong, but not one of our biggest winners of all times, if you know what I mean. Okay, and then we're into part 7, and this is the current one that I put out 6 hours ago. And we've got 639 votes so far, and it may be even higher. We may have hit 700 because I'm on a screen that was opened when I started my stream here, folks. And up to bat, Carl Palmer, another one that was suggested by one of you guys early in the poll. And he was already on the list, but he became impervious at that point because several of you brought up that you wanted him on this list. Taylor Hawkins Foo Fighters, and Alanis Morissette. Rest in peace. He just recently passed away.
Oh,
I loved
boy.
him both with Alanis Morissette and the Foo Fighters. I miss the man. So he's on this list. Cozy Powell, the Jeff Beck Group, Rainbow,
Oh, shoot.
Whitesnake, this album, that album, bunch of albums over there. Here a cozy, there a cozy, everywhere a Powell is on the list, along with Mike Portnoy, Dream Theater, which you guys put him on that list yesterday. Several of you commented on him. I wanted to put him on the list, but I just got into Dream Theater, and I just was thinking of other drummers that I've known about longer that I feel, needs some sunshine, and one of them got taken off, and Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater is on. Okay, plain and simple, and I'm glad to see him there. And again, all four of them are deserving to be in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. But at this point, it looks like the two that have a shot, and this is a dead heat tie, 41% each. So this is first and second place all rolled into one. Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Asia, right, is tied with Cozy Powell from the Jeff Beck Group, Rainbow, and of course Whitesnake and many other projects. I was surprised. I got to tell you, I thought we were going to get a lot of votes for either Taylor Hopkins, maybe as a sympathy vote type of thing, or Mike Portnoy. That God Parasomnia album is so good, it must be racing up the charts and everything. I was worried. And Cozy is tied for first place, right along with Carl Palmer. Only you guys can break this tie. I have no control over that.
Yep.
All right? So there's where we are now. Let me get back over here. I still got that tickle in my throat, baby.
Oh, dear. I'm sorry.
Now, I promised you guys a sneak peek. And I think that's the least I can do. Now, I think these guys are tied in. I think these guys are pretty much tied in, folks. Let's see. 7 Carl Pye. All right. So part 8 will include Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's probably the weakest one on this next two lists. I could see him if I got a slew, so now's the time to let me know. I could take him off, or I could, let's see, anybody else? No, nobody else I think is quite as touchable. But I would be willing to take him off. He's one of my suggestions. I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I know they're not everybody's cup of tea, but if any of you, Kimberly, could you look for any votes now? I'm giving you guys a chance to alternate part 8.
Yeah.
I think 9 and 10 are pretty much locked in.
Let's see.
Yeah, I can't touch these guys. All right, so the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So just say Don Henley. Okay, Don Henley is being voted on. I always thought of him as a proficient drummer. The fact that he's a songwriter, remember, that doesn't come into it and everything. But a good solid drummer, fits the pocket well with his bass player always, and he's had to change them up. So, okay. But I need to see more than 1 or 2 Don Henleys to knock this guy off. Okay?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Will Calhoun from Living Color. Well, I don't know. Oh, man, over Chad Smith?
Levon Helms.
Yeah. Gilmore of Triumph. Rob Townsend from Family.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Levon.
We don't often get Family mentioned here. Very good.
Gil
Levon.
Moore.
Are you talking about Levon Helms?
Yes, Levon Helms. Yep.
Okay. We've got Levon.
Gil Moore of Triumph.
Pete Pardo of the Sea of Tranquility. Okay. Yes, and prayers to Dr. Rick.
Yes.
You know, Doc has had COVID. Man, he runs into problems.
Amongst
he has
other
other
health
things,
issues,
yeah. And also a shout out to Tim McHenry, who's going through chemo
Yeah.
right now.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
talking about both of you before the stream started, brothers. Alex Van Halen.
Yeah.
Alex Van Halen is in.
Cool.
Who was it that said that? Was that Deuce? Yeah, that was Deuce. Jimmy Chamberlain. Okay, prayers. Right now I see a couple of votes for Don Henley, and everything else seems to be down to one. Well, wait a minute. There's an agreement with Levon Helms from the band, so they've got a couple of votes.
Also, Alex Van Halen.
Alex Van
Underrated.
Halen is in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
he's in. Yep. And that came from a lot of you folks
Jim
before.
Capaldi
Jim
from
Capaldi
Traffic.
from Traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I got to see more than one here. Okay? So keep them
Pace.
coming.
Ian Pace.
Ian Pace is already in, and he's leading his field.
Okay.
Number 17 there. Let's see. But yeah, you'll be happy. B.J. Wilson from Procol Harum. Yeah. Yeah, talk about servicing the song, huh? I could see that. All right, but so far, what do we got? We got Don Henley. He's got a couple of votes. We've also got, who else? What was the other one? Not Jim Capaldi, but there was another one here that got a couple of votes. I'm trying to remember.
Let's see.
Sean Kinney from AC/DC. He barely missed the list to begin with. Levon Helm. Okay, Levon Helm and Don Henley.
B.J. Wilson from.
Oh, we got
Procol.
another one from Capaldi.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm going
yeah.
to stop it there. Now I want
Capaldi.
you guys to respond to this question. Between Jim Capaldi, Levon Helm, or Don Henley, who do you want? I only want to hear those names right now, and I will change Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers to either Capaldi, Helm, or Henley. Okay? Anybody? Just waiting. Okay. Everybody's they're still voting for the ones they want. Okay, we've
Yep.
caught it up. Jim Capaldi, Levon is tied.
Yep.
Okay.
Tommy Aldridge.
All right. Don Henley, they're all tied. They're all tied. If we don't get a winner, I'll just keep Chad Smith on. Henley is ahead right now. Don Henley, the Eagles. Don Henley, the Eagles, is leading. Levon caught up. Henley took another lead. Levon caught up again. Okay. Hey, John, it's good to see you. John Hardy's in.
Oh, did he get in? Okay. Joseph Blue's in.
Okay, Henley leading again, but Levon just caught up again. We need a clear winner here, folks. Levon is leading for the first time. Okay. Levon is leading. Levon Helms.
Clearly, yeah.
Okay. Going once. Going twice. And called by a nose, Levon Helm will now take,
Boy.
let's see.
Rockin' Robin Burgess came in with a tribal elder for 6 months. Awesome.
What does she have to say,
She
babe?
says Sean Kenny is in Alice in Chains, not AC/DC. So maybe you said,
Oh, did I?
You might
Yeah.
have- yeah,
No,
yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I've already had 2 brain farts up here tonight, Robin.
Good catch, Rockin'
yeah.
Robin Bird.
Okay, let's see. And we'll put him in as the band. Rest in peace, my friend. I always like to just listen to that guy. You know, even as a character actor, you know, when he played, what was the one movie I really liked? The Right Stuff.
Oh, The Right Stuff, yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the pilot that, it's the guy that first broke the sound barrier. Chuck Yeager.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I guess he's Chuck Yeager's, you know, side man, always
Yeah.
gives him a stick of gum. And he just chews up the, I mean, first of all, a guy playing Chuck Yeager's a great actor.
Yeah, yeah.
And Helm is just chewing up the freaking scenery in that movie every time he's in it. Love Levon. Okay.
Oh,
all right.
goodness.
So, oh my
Jam
goodness,
just
Gear Jam
came
just
in.
sent us
He sent us a gift membership.
That's,
oh, thank you
folks,
so much.
take advantage of it.
Gear Jam.
Right?
Oh, that's
If I get
awesome.
memberships up, what I want to do, the only person I've told this about besides Kimberly is Royce. Royce and I do a lot of talking. I want to get the memberships up where I could do an occasional, not a weekly thing, maybe once a month, special live stream for members. What do you guys think of that? Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
So that's what we've been trying to do. And so if this comes your way, thank you so much, Gear Gem. That's like a $7 super thanks.
Oh, that's so
And
nice.
it is, you know what, the member side is alive and well. It's very young to have 150 videos out this soon. And I'll say 100 of them in the last year, easily, or 8 months even, you know. A whole lot of new material over there. And you have my pledge to keep
Woohoo.
driving for it. Okay? And
Mark
my
Nilsson
pledge not
got
to
the
let
gift.
this side of the channel ever be harmed. Thank you so much, Gear Jam.
Yeah, Mark Nilsson got the gift membership. That's awesome.
All right. Okay, so
Awesome.
here's your sneak peek. Levon Helm, the band, will be in part 8 sometime this evening, late this
Oh.
evening. Ringo Starr, the Beatles. Neil Peart, Rush. And Rick Allen, Def Leppard. Imagine that. James?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so he's in. That is the most, that part 8, which will be coming out tonight, is the most morphed part of all 10 parts. Part 9 will include the drummers Alex Van Halen from Van Halen, Keith Moon, The Who, Mitch Mitchell, The Jimi Hendrix Experience, and Phil Collins from Genesis.
Oh, yeah. Phil.
What a titanic matchup that is. Can you guys believe that? I'll reread them. Alex freaking Van Halen
Yeah.
from Van Halen
Yeah.
has to beat the likes like Keith freaking Moon, my second favorite drummer of all time from
Yeah.
The Who. And if you think it's going to be a battle between those titans, Mitch
No.
Mitchell comes along from Jimi Hendrix and the Experience.
Yeah.
Boy, I'll bet you Royce right now is nervous as hell. Because I know what he thinks of Mitch Mitchell. And Mitch Mitchell's got a lot of
oh, boy.
competition here.
Oh,
and then you
boy.
got Phil freaking Collins.
We
Come
got
on.
Ben Scheidegger in with a super
Oh,
thanks.
$5 super
oh,
thanks.
Thank
Thank you so much, Ben.
Ben,
You
you're
know what? I just
wonderful.
realized Ben's one of our younger members, and any of you who are younger, please let me know. You know, because I hope what we do here isn't just falling on, soon to be dead ears, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of us are from an older generation, and I do so much of this to procure the elements of rock and roll and then take those and educate.
Educate the younger.
And let's put a cap on freaking
keep
rock and roll in the right
alive.
way. That's what I do this for, Ben.
Ben
and Ben's
said-
been with me for a
I
long
know,
time.
I
I
know.
appreciate that.
I know. If
Can
I
you
don't
read it?
see Ben in the chat, it's not the same.
Right.
He
I agree.
says, "Hey, Michael, Kimberly, and the tribe, check out Cozy Pal live drum solo on the song Still, I'm Sad.
Oh, yeah.
Rainbow Live in Munich, 1977. Absolute masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, Ben.
You know, after
Great
the stream
choice.
is done, Ben, go ahead and leave a link to that in the comments on the replay on this. And I'll pin that. How does that sound,
Yeah,
Ben?
I'm taking a picture of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then people watching this on the replay will get a chance because Cozy Powell, oh, God.
Yep.
You know, you would need a Mount Rock Olympus for he is a god amongst drummers.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
shit,
Yep.
man. You know, he had a close group of drummers there, but Alex Van Halen, Keith Moon, Mitch Mitchell, Phil Collins. All right, now in part 10, the final one. For me, yeah, this is a big one too. John Bonham, Led Zeppelin, you knew he was coming. You guys knew I was keeping him for the last part.
Yeah.
All right, please, dear Lord.
Yeah.
May John Bonham,
Oh, my
please,
goodness.
please, 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 cream the rest of these guys that I wish could be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know who I'd choose for number 2 here. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. You guys would. Don Brewer, Grand Funk Railroad, that would be my number 2 choice right there. Okay? Don Brewer is one of the most powerful freaking drummers on the planet. He was the engine of Grand Funk Railroad. Talk about sitting in the freaking pocket with the bass player.
Yeah.
Better live than even in the freaking studio. Charlie Watts,
Charlie.
the Rolling Stones, not only the right man for the right band, but a jazz drummer when he put his mind to it. So lick for lick, study for study, you know? I could see a lot of people going, no, not even Bonham,
you know
man.
what?
Charlie Watts is very underrated, and I agree with that. And then finally, Dave Grohl from Nirvana.
Oh, hey. Storm Cop says, remind Michael about Eric Singer of Kiss.
Now, I got to be careful, because my
Yeah.
good buddy Royce knows Eric Singer, and there's a history there.
Yeah.
And Eric is fine, you know? Peter Criss is a fine, competent drummer.
Yeah.
But we're talking, good Lord, the amount of drummers. I had a list of over 250 drummers I could draw from.
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't be. Now, on my next poll, if we were to conduct this down the line, because our next poll after this will either be lead vocalists, watch out, Ozzy fans, or bass players. I'm not sure where we're going to go with that. Okay?
Who is the drummer for Kiss? I mean, for Alice Cooper. That's
Yeah, Neil.
Storm Cop wants to
Neil.
know who the drummer for Alice Cooper
Yeah,
is.
was that, I'm trying to remember, Neil?
Neil Peart?
No.
No?
No, he's with Rush, baby. And he's a great drummer. Talk about dynamics. Okay, great idea. His name's not coming to me. Glenn Buxton sticks in my head.
There's
Alice,
yeah.
Vince Furnier sticks in my head, The other guys I always look up as I'm coming through, but I love them all. Alice Cooper's latest album, The Revenge of Alice Cooper, has every single classic member of Alice Cooper on it, thanks to some technical wizardry concerning Glenn Buxton.
Dennis Dunaway.
And I was listening to that album last night. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But talk about a drummer who, dynamics, okay, versatile. I mean, 1 second
Yeah.
it's ass-kicking, almost heavy metal Alice Cooper, down to Broadway. When you're a jet, you stay the jet. And they're all over show tunes and everything. That band is one of the best bands on this freaking planet in the history of rock and roll. I defy any, and Alice Cooper as a lyricist is a monster. Okay? You can't have lyrics like, I love the dead before they're cold, they're bluing flesh, for me to hold. Cadaberize upon me, see nothing.
Yeah.
Or please clean your plate, dear. The Lord above you can see you.
Woohoo.
Don't you know children are starving in Korea? Alcohol, razor blades, poison, and needles. The kindergarten people, they use them, they need them. My kind of lyrics. My kind of lyrics. And an amazing drummer. He didn't make the list this time. But we will be doing this again. This is first draw. And like I said, I already had 40 freaking drummers, folks, that well, there'd be maybe 3 off that list, maybe 4 that I wouldn't have nominated, certainly not the first time around, if it was all up to me. But out of those 40, there's got to be 36 of them that all deserve to be in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame. But we're going to do this the right way, okay? It's got to come from you folks. I'm not just going to make a list of 40 drummers and say, hey, by the way, they're in the new rock. No, that's what makes this fun, this is you and I having fun while we do this. I want us to really enjoy this process, and I want it to wind up to be something that we did that. You know? What was that at the end of, they always had little clips at the end of sitcoms, you know, sit, Ubu. You know, sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. You know, I made this.
Okay.
Only we made that. You know, I want it to be that. And I want it to really, truly represent rock and roll. It's got to do that. And so far, I'll compare the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame that will be up to 130 inductees by the end of the year, if not more. Because this is taken on a life of its own. And I hope you're happy, James. I hope you're happy, Christian. I hope you're happy, Gear Jam. I hope you're happy, Royce. I hope you're happy, Dan. Okay? I hope you're happy, Rockin' Robin. Dr. Rick, Dr. Insomnia. I hope you're all just having a shit-ass grin on your face right now. Because you are the people that forced me into doing this. And by doing this, I mean, I'm the bean counter, really. I'm the guy that does the adding and the tallying. Okay, they're in, he's not. Oh, here's why he isn't. Right? I get the glory job. And these guys go, make it so, number one. You know, that's what they've done to me, baby.
Yeah.
They've sent me to face a dragon.
I know.
Because they know I'm a fucking Don Quixote kind of guy anyway.
Yeah.
I see dragons. There be dragons that need to be slayed.
Well, you slay them.
Yeah, they know how to point me in the right direction, I think. The tribe knows how to work me. I figured that out a long
Dr.
freaking time
Insomnia
ago.
says, just one Zappa drummer? Is that too much to ask?
I knew it.
Doc.
I knew it. Yeah. Yeah. I knew it. That was either going to come from Doc or Royce. I knew it. Hey, Doc, we were asking for substitutes. We just replaced part of the list about, 5-10 minutes ago. Could have voted then. Royce could have voted then. You know, if we'd gotten a good Zappa drummer mentioned 4-5 times, that would have beat out Levon Helm. His only competition, and kind of led most of the time, was Don Henley. And then Levon Helm, I said, going once, going... Doc? Okay. But, and an incredible group of musicians that worked with Frank Zappa, who was a genius and everything. I'm not the big Zappa fan that Royce and Doc are, though. But I have so freaking much respect for what he did, right? I had a good friend. He's the guy that taught me my first 6 chords on guitar. Here's E, here's A, here's D, here's G, here's C. And here's the real hard one, F.
F?
You know, F. That'll F you up.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. tender young non-calloused fingers trying to form an F chord. Oh, joy.
Oh.
You know? No wonder I wrote, by the time that was happening, I was writing a lot of songs in those days in the key of E minor. Ah, that's so easy. A 2-finger chord, yes. I could just bar the A. But anyway, yeah, so I know it's not a list that everybody's going to be 100% happy with. And, for those of you who are voting for all these wonderful drummers that aren't in the lead right now, that's got to be exasperating for you folks.
Yep, exactly.
All I can say is we're going to do this the right way. Those who don't make it in this time are eligible to be nominated again. All right? And maybe with a less intense field, they will make it. That's going to happen down the line. Okay? But the one thing that I am bound to and determined to make sure that happens with this is no freaking Missy Elliott will ever be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You will never see Dolly Parton in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame.
Goodness.
And I finally made my hardest decision on the planet. No, Johnny Cash, and everybody knows what a big freaking Johnny Cash fan I am. And that many of these people I'm mentioning right now, like Willie Nelson, all right, have rock and roll attitudes totally, and I love their music, but they will not be in the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of Fame, because if you let one in, you get the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then you got problems. No, this is going to be definite, folks. This is going to be rock. There's already plenty to go around. It could be jazz rock. No jazz groups, but jazz rock groups, Steely Dan, are eligible for this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Prog rock, heavy metal, hard rock, soft rock, singer-songwriters, keyboardists, drummers, harp players, saxophone players are all eligible. We got a big job ahead of us, folks. Time to roll up our sleeves a bit. And so I'm ready to kick this into high gear this year. Things have changed a little bit here in Normsville, baby.
Hey, Jay Kleban says Lothario Farquhar.
Lothario Farquhar.
I've never heard of him, but maybe you have.
Let me see if I can read that.
Yeah.
Lothario
Farquhar.
Give me some info on it, Jay. Jay's one of our younger viewers. Maybe I'm just too old and decrepit to be aware of that particular artist. But I'm an old dog that knows how to learn new tricks, I can guarantee you. Some of you folks have turned me on to some of the best music especially this last year, but even before then. But when I have this more one-on-one, you guys give me homework, right? When I tell Kimberly, make a screenshot of that, I go back, I check into it. You guys drop a link, right, into the replay. Dropping links live don't work, but in the replay, if you do it in the replay, I don't get rid of those links because I want you guys to have a say-so. I'll ask everybody who clicks on a link, come back and watch the rest of my replay, but I'm willing to, chance that. And I think it's wonderful. I want the channel, I say procurement of elements of rock, okay? That means great albums, great guitarists, great singers, great songs, great eras, great scenes. Like I have with Royce, but I haven't covered The Summer of Love yet. I haven't covered The Canyon yet.
Yeah.
Just haven't had time. So I'm sure I'll get down to that one day. Laurel Canyon? The magic, the elements. But let's get the real story out there.
That's right.
I want people to know, you go over there, man. First of all, the guy makes a mistake. He'll say, oops, I'm sorry. And second of all, he's willing to have his opinion second guessed, and when you comment over there, you don't feel like a fool disagreeing with him or the people that comment a lot over there. They're real friendly folk. That's what I want. And I'll tell you, this channel has almost obliterated any troll activity.
Yep.
We get a few that come in and give me a thumbs down. I can't control that. We have 57 freaking thumbs up, baby.
Oh my goodness, that's so
All right,
awesome.
so that opens it up to a larger audience. We may be getting new people in or in the last few minutes as we've been going. Thank you so much. If we get 43 more in the next 24
Woo-hoo!
hours, which includes replay time, it'll go to a wider audience. We've been doing so well lately. We've hit 4 streams in a row where we got 1,000 or more views on the stream. I consider that very good for how long I've been streaming, and I didn't inherit anybody's audience. Oh, I know there's a few of you that watch Rachel.
Oh, Stormcop wants to know if we should include a poll for female drummers.
Well, this one did have a few female drummers. I'll tell you who got knocked out for your person. Who was it he chose? Which drummer did James choose, baby, that got in?
Oh dear.
Let me see.
Sure.
I'll figure it out real quick.
Okay.
Let's see. Rick Allen.
Rick Allen.
Yeah. He. You know who got knocked off because of Rick Allen?
Who?
Because when I thought of Rick Allen's story and everything, I had Anika Niles there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and there
Yeah.
were a few, at least two female drummers that were in. I'm not much for a special let's honor the females so much. I think we're beyond that. We're at a time where our society readily recognizes that male and female are equal. That's my belief. And so it's now, my last 25 years working for the state of California,
Yeah.
every freaking nurse that was female was making every freaking cent that I was making.
Yep.
Okay, so that was my reality for the most part. And if there's still injustices out there and everything, they're going by the dinosaur and everything. I say it's time to embrace and let females speak for themselves.
Well, yeah, but we should appreciate the female drummers too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We don't have a
That's why
male
there
versus
I
male.
had
Yeah.
I think I had 4 or 5 originally.
Yeah.
Okay?
Karen Carpenter, Sheila E.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheila was Sheila E. Who worked with Prince right post Prince and the Revolution.
Yeah.
Was on the list. She got knocked off by another contender that you guys were voting for. He goes, sounds like you're picking off a lot of female drummers, Michael. All right. No, a lot of male drummers got knocked off too.
Yeah.
Okay,
And-
to me, it was like, if you got Sheila E. and then you've got somebody from the fucking 60s
Okay.
that has gotten no love, if it's between Sheila E. and Ginger Baker, Baker's on the list. Now, I can guarantee you Sheila E. will be in the next group that will be there. So you guys know what I think of Anika. All right? Anybody that plays with Jeff Beck, I don't care what she does with Rush.
Yeah.
And I've watched hours and hours of her drumming. I'm a fan.
Yep.
Okay? But then it came to Rick Allen. And I'm going, but the story, the elements, the procuring of the story. Anika still, a question mark. She's still she's in the midst of her career. And she almost made it despite that, James. Okay? I would like to do this, and I want it to be fair. All right? I don't want it to be white Anglo male-centric type of thing. At all. That's not my contention. But a lot of classic rock certainly there was such a, and if that was part of the weakness of our society then, we don't rewrite history. those same white dudes still produced this excellent set of classic albums, performances. They were monsters and everything else. And then as the women came in, I put in a poll, what was it? The Runaways? And they got smeared. And I thought, Jesus, what's going on with that? No, you're talking to a man who was raised by one of the strongest women on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
And married one of
Michael's
the strongest
mom.
women on the planet. I have respect for women.
Yeah.
All right. I don't care what color your skin
Shirley
is.
Noland. Yes, she was
What
awesome.
sex you are. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care who you're sleeping with.
Yeah, we're
what
not.
you're sleeping with.
Yeah,
That's none of my
no.
fucking business.
It doesn't matter. Yep. We're all
Okay.
different.
I judge you on what comes out, and judging
Your
means
character,
right
yeah.
now I'm talking
Yeah.
because I don't judge my fellow man,
Yeah.
but I judge them as a rock star in my head. Right, that's kind of what we do on the channel.
Yep.
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 Led Zeppelin's the second best band in the world because the Beatles are the best.
To Michael, the Beatles are
To
the
me.
best.
And a lot of you disagree with me. And guess what? You guys get to gang up on me in the comments. There's only one video of me saying one thing, and there could be hundreds of comments saying, "You're a loser. What's the matter with you, boy?" Well, I'm talking about Shaft.
Have you heard of
Shut your mouth.
Dr. Insomnia said the earliest female drummer he knows of is Honey Ian Tree, 1964 from the Honeycombs. Wow. I'll have to check that out because I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard of the Honeycombs. I'm trying to remember. They even had a hit or two. I didn't know they had a female drummer.
Yeah.
Wow. I got turned on to female drummers by Karen Carpenter.
Karen Carpenter.
Yeah.
She's one of my
When she
favorites.
first came out, I mean,
Oh,
later.
not to mention her singing.
Yeah,
God.
God, yeah. And I wasn't aware that, like, some of their songs were written by Burt Bacharach. I didn't care. I want to be
Close to you.
Talk about dynamics, use of toms. Okay,
Yeah.
and I've seen her go to town doing drum solos. She was great,
She's amazing. Yeah.
amazing. So noted. I'll make an extra effort to make sure a few more. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I worming my way out of trouble with you,
Oh,
James?
that Pearl just got in.
On our next nomination committee, I'll make sure there's a few more gals in there. Okay? It's hard, though. It really is. In order to be politically correct, or what is considered a modern thinker, a lot of people who built what we came to know as rock and roll stands in danger of being eclipsed because it's probably more sensible to bring up such and such or so or whatever.
Zep Earl says, "Oh, silly Michael, I know you were just kidding me. Led Zeppelin is the GOAT." Zep Earl, you're funny.
Vance, I'll tell you. Vance is the man when it comes to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Well, there's several of us out there. Royce loves Zeppelin. I love Zeppelin. I mean, you wouldn't know if I just made a deal with the devil. Say I was in Georgia and the devil came down to Georgia and made a deal with me, looking for a soul to steal, and said, "Michael, I'll give you $1 million if you don't mention the Beatles for the next 10 years. I'd be a Led Zeppelin channel, man.
Yeah.
I'd be a Led Zeppelin channel. Vance knows how big of a Led Zeppelin fan I am, but Vance, he's called Zep Earl for a reason.
Yep.
And he's got a fabulous
He's got a great
channel.
channel. Yes, he does.
He's one of the 5 channels that I feature on my featured channels list, folks. He is of the tribe and always, Royce, Just the Facts Man, Zep Earl, Wayne from Soul Train Bro, Just the Facts Man. I think those are and the R&B show, but now it's B-Sides. I think that's it. I just put him back on.
Woohoo.
Okay, because he's making videos again. Otherwise, Bruce would have never left. So maybe I have 6 right now. Do me a solid and sub every single one of those folks up. I really would appreciate it. They are of the tribe. They
Yep.
are part of the core that we know about. We go and see each other's videos
Yeah,
and
we
things
support
like
each
that.
other. Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to do because there's a lot of trauma in what they call the vinyl community, and there's a lot of streaming around there. And that's not what I offer here. Although I know some of you, I was going to mention this earlier, are like Rachel's stream is probably the biggest, even though Rob and Mazzy seem to think they're bigger than her. They inherited her audience. I don't give a damn what either one of them say. And she's brilliant and everything else, but she does a thing I don't like to do. I don't want the drama trauma. I don't want the calling of the names. I don't want the fucking
Yeah,
trolls
we're
on
not
my
into
fucking
that
channel.
kind of petty stuff
Right.
at all.
And so I've had to do a back off, but not because she isn't brilliant in her own way. She is. And I just don't do the troll thing. I'd rather stay on track. I do it totally different, Mazzy.
Caitlin,
Well, I heard Mazzy's been known to say he does it totally different.
Caitlin wants you to mention something positive about Eric Singer.
Eric Singer
Yeah, huh, Kate?
was a drummer.
Okay, well, what's
Is
positive?
was yeah. Well, I know my good buddy Roy. You're just a you didn't stream today. You gave your stream over to James. Then you didn't even show up on James's
Caitlin.
stream.
Oh no.
And now you're coming over and you're going to make me say nice things about Kiss. Caitlin. What am I going to
you
do
go,
with
girl.
you, girl?
She's
No, I don't hate Kiss. I don't hate Kiss.
Yeah.
I don't hate Motley Crue. All these bands, they're great. And, Tommy Thayer coming in, he was no Ace Frehley to me. I'm sorry. Because, there's DNA and then there's replication, here's our 3D printed version of Ace. And I'm not much on that. So, and I'm not a big Kiss fan. I've said this in the past. The main reason I'm not a big Kiss fan is I think I was just a mite too old for them. They came out, I was actually still living at home. I was 17 or 18, and I was away more than I was at home. I was down in LA setting up ticket offices and things like that. And then I'd come home for a couple of days. And then I'm over in Napa County, or up in, the Twin Cities area up there. And I'd be all over California. And I'd come back home and Kiss was out. And you'd think because I love Alice Cooper, I'd love Kiss. But see, Alice Cooper for me is the one band that gets away with that. I've often said David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust, and Mars are great, but I didn't get into him because, see, I was into Alice Cooper and I didn't need him.
Right.
But I got into him later when he was Mr. Suit and blonde-haired, golden years, wah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And got into him, went back and got into Ziggy Stardust. But Kiss came along, and all my younger brothers thought they were cool. And I came home one day, and I went, what the hell is that? And I think it was my brother Gary. It could have been David or Dwayne. They go, that's Kiss. And their movie was on
Yeah.
TV. God, what a load of codswell up that movie
Kate
was.
says, oh, come on.
I didn't get it. And so I saw him as some punk-ass band my punk-ass brothers liked.
Oh.
Right? I was too good for them. I was more educated by that time. Hell, I was been in my third band by that time. Oh, they're not that good. But as the years went on, in their prime, they were a good rock band. They made a couple of very good records. I wouldn't say masterpieces. Okay? And yes, when they got nominated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they deserved to be in there. But Tommy Thayer and crowd did not, and I agreed with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Uh-oh, I just said that.
Uh-oh.
Can you believe that?
Uh-oh.
I'm going to wash my mouth out with soap, baby.
Oh, Michael.
I actually just said I agree with the Mount Rock Olympus Hall of, or, well, I agree with that, but I don't agree with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well.
You know, but I agreed. No, you know, it was the 4 core members that built that whole franchise. I'm sorry, and I know there's a lot of counter arguments to that, but I go for core members of bands, not part 3 or part 9, or, you know, subsection 0.213. I just don't do that. And it's not my thing. I want to know who's responsible for the vast bulk of the material that got that band into whatever Hall of Fame. And I want those members.
Hey, hon.
Yeah, baby.
John Hardy says, Michael, what do you think about Jerry Allison drumming from the Crickets? Ooh.
Yeah, real good. I'm surprised I didn't go back far enough. You know what? Who was that brought that up just now?
John Hardy.
John.
Yeah.
Yeah, John. I think the reason I didn't go that far back is I had just gotten through going that far back with artists for our last induction, and I was staying focused into probably the classic rock period, to be honest with you. But yeah, that may have been a failing with this.
Mickey Dolenz.
Yeah, because talk about influence.
Yeah.
Okay, and talk about first timers. Talk about DNA. All right, we'll make that up on the next poll. I'll go a little deeper. How does that sound, brother? Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter whether he was nominated this time or not. He'll be in. It's mentally in. I'll be making notes after the stream for the next batch of drummers, which may be a while. But it may not be as long as you thought, because the way I was going to originally do this was add drummers this year, then add maybe bass players next year. And I want to get caught up on some of this. I don't want this to be a 3-year process, and because I want to get all these guys to a point where we could do a potpourri kind of pull and start bringing in drummers and guitarists in multi-parts. And for me to do that, I've got to get the basic instrumentation at least of the band. Okay, so following this poll sometime this year, all right, maybe in a month, I don't know, we'll go for either lead singers or bass players.
How about drum solos? You know, best drum
Well,
solos.
and that's when best drum solos are the kind of videos I do, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done that.
Yeah.
You know, what is Led Zeppelin's 10 best songs? You know,
Yeah.
I don't think I've done that. What are the 10 best tracks from
Or how about
Pink
what
Floyd?
Rockin' Robin Bird said, how about drummers who died while playing, like Sib H of Boston?
Ooh,
wow,
ooh.
Rockin' Robin Bird.
Yeah, that band's had a
Yeah.
lot of tragedy.
Yeah.
And you know, I just did a short. Got a ton of views, tons, thousands and thousands of views, and because the lead singer for Boston from 2007 just passed away at only 60 years old, and then Brad Delp decided not to continue breathing. You know, some bands, and yet I also said, you know, I and have said before, Boston is one of those bands that you go, why are you making a video on a replacement singer, Michael? I thought you were against replacement singers, except that Boston was kind of a replacement band from the very start, based on everything Tom Schultz put together in his studio, his own personal, what was it, a basement studio he had. So I'm okay. And I'm also okay including vast more members in bands like Yes, who have changed from their very get-go, and later members put together just as awesome of albums that older members did.
Al Val said best drum solo was Wipeout.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree with you, Al Val.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be up there.
Absolutely.
That'd be up there, you know, because you also got to go DNA Thumbprint. you know,
Yes.
you know. But boy, and then where do you stop it, brother? Do you stop at, you know, drum solos recorded on an album or a 45, or do you go live albums? You know, how many freaking live things would some of these drummers be on that list 3 or 4 times? They're
my
so
goodness.
freaking amazing.
Both
John Bonham. Ah!
B
Just
said
imagine angels
both
singing.
Boston singers died on the same day.
Yeah,
Oh, that's tragic.
it
God.
is. It is. Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh
Yep.
dear. Sorry.
Oh,